Good morning. Today's talk I bring to you with a heavy heart. The title is RuSA'S Required Oath Breaks My Heart. They went and did it, creating a very heart-wrenching decision for me. Yesterday I was at the statewide meeting of the Florida Free State, in which, as Secretary of State, I presided over the election confirmation of one of our senators that had been appointed upon the death of the man previously elected, and one new legislator to replace one that had resigned. Then we were presented with new citizenship papers that had to be signed under oath or affirmation without alteration. The wording included naming the Holy Bible as a foundational law venue of the Republic without establishing a religion. I could not sign that document in good conscience. Let me explain why. Before I even get to the explanation and the why, let me say this. We had scheduled, and I had been the one that scheduled the venue and was responsible for it. We had scheduled it approximately 6 weeks ago, if memory serves me correctly. And less than 24 hours before our meeting was to begin, I was notified by the people who operate the venue, a library, that Obama was coming next door to that facility, and Selective Service was cordoning off the entire area, and people would have to be bussed in and park a distance away. So there was not going to be any parking adjacent to the building where we were to have our meeting, which again I had scheduled approximately 6 weeks earlier. So frantically, many phone calls were made on Friday afternoon to find another venue, and these people did help me find another library, a smaller facility, but relatively close by to the previous one, but one that would not have Obama's trip interfere with parking and other matters. So I'm sure we lost a considerable amount of people, although we did our best to communicate the change, the last minute change. It's almost inevitable that some of the people that would have been there and maybe actually did try to get there did not get the message of the change in time to handle it. We made a bunch of phone calls, sent emails, but we didn't reach everybody. We could not reach everybody. There's over 800 people on our mailing list. In any case, we did have the meeting happen, and overall it was a good meeting till the very end, when the new citizenship papers were presented, with a new naturalization and immigration officer presiding, who had just been sworn in the previous day in that position. And prior to that presentation of the new paperwork, Mr. Gene Exum, who is now part of the national, and he's one of the justices at national in the court system, a lovely man that I've known the entire time that I've been involved in the Republic, pretty much. He gave a speech to the legislators in which he received an ovation. I don't think it was a standing ovation, but he received an applause when he reminded the legislators that it was their awesome responsibility, in fact duty, to only pass laws that would protect the rights of everyone, rich and poor, male and female, regardless of race, or he didn't say religion or creed. I don't believe in the speech. I'd have to go back and listen again, but I don't believe he mentioned religion or creed. But tears came to my eyes as he reminded those that were making the laws to not pass laws that would violate the rights of others. And that is definitely an ideal of mine, because we've seen the abuse of governmental authority, of legislative authority, of judicial authority, of executive authority in our modern world. And in fact, throughout the history of our world, we've seen abuses of power. We've seen abuses of religion, in fact, as well. I was very moved, as I said, by what Gene had to share. And I went up to him when he was presenting the new documents that needed to be signed under oath or affirmation. I said, I want to see that document. And sure enough, there was the Holy Bible as one of the law venues, foundational law venues of the Republic, even though on the Republic website, which is right in front of me on this other computer right now, the founding documents are the Declaration of Independence, the Organic Constitution of the United States of America, and the Bill of Rights. I can go along with that without hesitation, completely, 100%, completely. But they put the Holy Bible in there, even though they put a qualifying phrase after it, something about without establishing a religion. And they did that for people like me, I suppose, because Gene pointed that out. Well, it's not establishing a religion, but it's violating the First Amendment to the Constitution, because the Holy Bible is a specific document relating to a specific religion that not all religions hold in common. Therefore, it's not a republic. It's a theocracy when you do that. Period. It's a theocracy. Why is this offensive to me? Why did it break my heart? Literally, when I saw this for approximately a half an hour to an hour, I literally had pain in my chest in the area of my heart. I could feel literally the pain there, which is not something I feel normally. But I do have the sensitivity that when I'm in a situation where I have a decision to make that hurts, I actually feel it in my heart as physical pain. I don't think there's a problem with my heart. I think it's my body communicating with me that this is a gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching matter. And indeed it is. Putting the Holy Bible in a document that all citizens that join the Republic must sign is discriminatory on its face and unconstitutional in fact. And how the current legislation of the Republic, including Mr. Tim Turner as executive, as the president who would have to sign this bill into law, including that, I don't know how they can miss the fact that it's discriminatory on its face. Can they honestly expect Muslims, my Muslim brothers and sisters, to sign a document under oath or affirmation in which they're not allowed to strike out the words Holy Bible? And the Holy Bible, Muslims in their foundation, in their origin, were lovers of people of the book. They were not at war with people of the book. Muhammad was not. They honored Jews and Christians and saw themselves as having the same foundational family. They were Semites initially. They were Semites, descendants from Abraham, Isaac, Ishmael, Okay? They saw it as one family. But modern Muslims, because of the Crusades and because of the history of religion fighting religion, would not be so gracious in accepting the Holy Bible as a foundational law form of a political structure that they were choosing to inhabit. And what about Buddhists? And what about Hindus? And what about Taoists? Or people of other faiths, of other world religions, which have their own sacred writings? They don't recognize the Holy Bible as their foundational truth. It's discriminatory on its very face. And what about Native Americans, who were Christianized by sword and gunpoint by people claiming to be followers of the Holy Bible and of the Christian religion, that were introduced to smallpox and other diseases of the Europeans that came and dominated by force the American continents. And they did that same thing, not just in America, but in Hawaii and in the islands of the Pacific and in other far-strung reaches of the planet. Wherever Christians went, they enforced their religion by force. By force. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't a free conscience. They did not recognize the gifts, many times, that the indigenous people had and the wisdom that they had gained, that was totally overrun in the name of Christ, in the name of a Christian religion, and finding justification oftentimes in the Holy Bible, which was created not by God, but by the Council of Nicaea, 300 years after Christ, 300 and some years after Christ, it was created. Now they have found the Dead Sea Scrolls and other archaeological finds. They have found parts of the Bible, along with other books that weren't included in the Bible. Many books called the Apocrypha were not included and chose to be excluded. And the Bible is a book that has been edited many, many times at the convenience of King James and his scholars from around the world for political purposes, to control and manipulate the population. Lots of things I believe in the Bible. For example, the high priestly prayer of Jesus. I pray not for the world, but for these that you have given me out of the world. I don't believe that. I do believe, Father, that they all may be one in us, that the world may know that you sent me. I believe all means all. I don't believe it means those that you have given me out of the world. I don't believe that God is the Father only of Christians, or only of Muslims, or only of Hindus, or only of Jews, or only of Buddhists, or only of name the religion, fill in the blank. It doesn't matter. God is to me a generic term meaning creator, meaning the great force, the great spirit, the creative impetus in the cosmos. I have no problem with that. I love God, and I love Jesus, the Son of God, and I recognize that Jesus said, even in his day, ye are gods, quoting the psalmist from the Old Testament, King David. We are gods because we are all children of one God. And I cannot fathom and give my assent to an institution that discriminates against anyone, period, for any reason, period. As Gene Exum pointed out in his brilliant and inspiring speech and impassioned speech, we have the obligation to protect the rights of every other individual as if they were, or to the same extent that we would protect our own rights. And I will not succumb to being forced into signing documentation that discriminates against brothers and sisters that many Christians do not recognize as brothers and sisters because of their short-sightedness, because of their failure to understand that their own religion has been tampered with, their own scriptures have been tampered with, their own history has been tampered with, and we have not been told the truth. We have been told lies that polarize and set us apart from each other and separate. Separation is not a work of God, in the respect that God is all and in all. God is unity, not disunity. Disunity comes from creation, from the division into opposites, but opposites aren't the problem. They can dance, can't they? They don't have to duel, do they? They can dance. The masculine can dance with the feminine. The dark can dance with the light. And when love dances with fear caused by separation, it unifies and mollifies the fear. It transforms it, transmutes it to not fear, to actual tolerance and ultimately love and compassion. This is the teaching of Jesus. This is the teaching of all prophets and sages and seers down through the ages, that we are one family. So it broke my heart to have to say no and to state clearly to anyone that would listen why I would not sign those documents. It's going to be interesting to see how Tim Turner and National handles this. I'm not exactly a person that's sitting on the sideline somewhere. Are they going to cast me out of the Republic? I'm certain Governor Bishop and others are not going to want to cast me out of the Republic of Florida. I'm certain of that. Is National going to force them to excommunicate me from the Republic? I don't know what the answer is going to be. I do know that there are other people there that were in the meeting yesterday, including some in the executive department and I believe some in the legislative department, that did not sign the documents and did not take the oath. I know for a fact that there's at least 3 other people, all of whom hold offices. 3 of them, well, counting myself, there's 3 of us in the executive branch. Another is more local, in the local assembly. But anyway, and I think the 2 senators are on the fence. I know they both voted no to the Naturalization and Immigration Act. I know that for a fact. And one of our other representatives also voted no, that I know personally did not go along with that. That individual was not there yesterday, had a prior commitment and could not make it. But in any case, it's not a done deal. I would hope that people in the Republic go back and re-examine this issue, because this is going to be a divisive issue until the Republic is able to accept with open arms everybody that wants to be free, everybody that wants to exercise his or her unalienable rights to freedom of religion and freedom of honoring any document they hold sacred, or any, what's the word that I'm looking for? Any tradition that they hold sacred and honorable. We have the right to do that. I think that's all I'm going to say for today, and I do hope that Tim Turner and all the people that are at high levels and national in the Republic examine this issue really closely, and I challenge you to put yourself in the shoes of people that are not Christians and ask, how would I feel if I were forced to take an oath to honor their sacred writings and not mine. There's many other things and avenues I could take here, but I've already gone over 20 minutes, and so I'm going to leave it at this for today. Thank you for listening and for understanding where I'm coming from. Namaste.